Hi everybody, it's Chantal. Good morning, good Wednesday, Wellness and Wisdom morning. So today I want to talk about intuition. And why do I want to talk about it? Because at this day and age, you may notice that there's a lot of information out there, a lot of people talking about a lot of things. So I'm not going to name anything in particular, but I want to say that it is and it can be overwhelming, especially if you have a health decision to make. And what I mean by this is, I have mentioned before, and I'm going to mention it again, that I was diagnosed with breast cancer not once but twice. And the word cancer scares a lot of people. It scared me definitely the first time and the second time too. And I think it continues to, at times scare me, but not always. Because I don't attach to it the meaning that other people may attach to it. So I attach to it that it is a crisis for me, a moment, a health crisis or life-defining moment. And that means my body has called me to look inside and go deeper and look at things that are blocking my energy flow. So I'm looking at all kinds of things like diet and psychotherapy and exercise and meditation, stress management, emotional release, spiritual connection, all these things that I've mentioned before. And I stand still in the middle of a crossroad and I make decisions every single day. All of us make decisions. So maybe you can relate to what I'm saying. Maybe not in the sense that you have something as big as cancer. Maybe you relate to it as a big life decision or maybe a small life decision. Our days are made of life decisions that are not always big. And yet those small decisions are like little stepping stones that lead us towards making sometimes big changes. So how do we go about listening to ourselves and our intuition? How do we actually go inside instead of outside and hear all the noise? And sometimes it's not an either or. It's not like you have to listen only to one thing. But for the most important decisions, I highly recommend tuning in to yourself. So the title of this Wednesday Wellness and Wisdom has to do with listening to your intuition. Now, I was gifted to take a course for 2 years on how to tune in and listen to my own intuition. And you can read about this. There's a lot of information out there, especially now it seems to be more in the upcoming conversations on the media. But I'm talking about the basic level of intuitions. There's 5 or 6 of them, I think. 5 that I know of. What you hear, what you see, what you sense, what you know, and I'm forgetting one. Clairaudience is the hearing, clear sentience is the sensing, clairvoyant is the seeing. Okay, whatever. I'm going to move on because I don't want to spend my whole time defining this. But what I mean by this is there are moments where we hear either words or we hear somebody shows up in our life and we have a question inside. We wonder what to do next about something, and then somebody shows up. And then as they talk, you have this clear knowing. You know that what they're saying is meaningful to you in this moment. Clear cognizant, the knowing. And then you also have, maybe you see something somewhere. A lot of the time when I have questions, I will actually ask the question if I have a decision to make, and then open myself to a wider energy. So that means you tune in. You can do this in your meditation. Hey, Barb. You can tune in into your senses. And your body is a conduit for intuition. So often I will say what feels right is right, and what feels not right is not right. And often when people say to me, they're arguing back and forth between what they actually hear from other people and what they think they should do, and now highlight this word should. Should is not your knowing. Should is your brain. It's your mind, the conditioned mind. Sometimes I call it the monkey mind or the mind that will criticize, evaluate. So this is where the water gets murky. This is when you actually feel and debate your feelings. So I'm going to go back to that sense of clear knowing, clear sensing, clear hearing, and clear seeing. So take a deep breath with me. And I sit in nature because it's my favorite place. And just ground yourself. So taking some deep breaths. And really releasing downward. So outside, Mother Earth is really grounding. It actually calls us to be here and now. And just for a moment, if you're not outside, wherever you are, just feel your outside body. Did you see that bumblebee that just flew by? Feel your outside body, feel your skin. So for instance, right now the wind is blowing, I'm relaxing my skin, I'm feeling the wind on my skin. And then I'm going to go into my belly, because if you ground your sits bones and your feet into the earth, and then take a deep belly breath, and then slowly go up, open up your spine. So that is like your solar plexus is stacked up on top, your heart on top of your solar plexus, your throat, relax the jaw, your forehead, and then the crown of your head, which is the energy channel that opens to the universe. And for a moment there, just let a question settle inside your heart. What to do about, or what do I want about? Exhale. And just notice if you had an image. Maybe you heard something like a word or a sentence. Or maybe you have a knowing. Something inside of you knows. And maybe you sense something's right. There are two choices, one feels better than the other. That's your clue, right? So that's intuition right there. So think about it. Come back to yourself. So step number 1, ground into the present moment. I would say actually step number 1 is ask the question. The question that you would like to have clarity and an answer for. Take a deep breath. And number 2, come into this moment, connect. It's not a long thing. You can just be right here, right now. Take 30 seconds. Relax everything. Calm your brain. And number 3, see maybe an image in relationship to your question. Hear a word or a sentence. Feel, sense in your body something that feels right or not, or no. So these are the ways that you can actually be guided by your own inner being. Now step number 4 is really tricky, because either you will take action or you will record that knowing, keep track of it. And often I say I keep in the back of my head, and sometimes I record on paper, that deep sense of knowing. It's like weaving. Making decisions, especially large, big decisions, is like weaving. We can't just step from A to B. We actually have to collect the clues. It's like you're walking on a path and somebody dropped little breadcrumbs, like the story that we heard when we were little kids. And then you keep picking up those breadcrumbs, and they're like, yeah, that's the right direction. I'm going to take the next step, and the next step, and the next step. And that's how we make decisions. Sometimes we have big moments of revelation. It's like, aha, I know. Most of the time we don't. We just have these small decisions. So when you get up in the morning, so step number 5, align your intention with your day. Attention and intention. So take a moment with yourself in the morning and just practice what I just did. See your day ahead of yourself and look at the steps, the things you have to accomplish, and ask yourself maybe where you feel like you need direction, where you feel confused, where you feel scared. These are the feelings that are murking up the water, and the feelings are connected to our thoughts. So in the morning, you sit quietly, you line yourself up, you look at the day ahead of you, and you take maybe 1 or 2 topics, and you just scan into your body, sensing, that is like sensations, feelings, the deep knowing, Either you hear after you ask the question or you see an image. And that's how you go about it. It's that simple. Your intuition, all of us are energy beings. We're not energy doing, we're energy being. We sense, we open up, right? So I want to add one more thing about asking questions, because sometimes I know for me, my mind doesn't record until my body is actually telling me what's happening. I am very kinesthetic, very tuned in kinesthetically. So I will get a sensation in my body. And so that's number one. Don't argue with your way of receiving information. For some of us, the seeing is not a big image, as in like the movie is in front of you. And for some of us, it is. So intuition, number one, ask a question. Number two, line yourself up, calm down, just come inside yourself, center yourself. Number three, tune in. What words, images, sensations, knowing comes through. Number four, record the information you got. And number five, take action on that small step. Maybe take action is just taking a recording of that. So that's it. Wednesday, Wellness and Wisdom. Either you have decisions to make about your business, or you have decisions to make about your life, about your health, or any decisions. Stand in the middle of your decision, look at the options, and just go through this process. And feel free to write me a comment, questions. And thanks for being here, Barb. I really appreciate you tuning in, and everybody else is going to be watching later. All right, until next Wednesday, 11 o'clock, Wednesday Wellness and Wisdom. I hope you have a great day. Thank you. Bye.